Yo, what's up everyone? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope your day is going well. The last video I made about Brighter Shores was just my initial impressions. And now I'm back with over 100 hours in the game and my first guide video to help others out on their journey from 0 to 100 merchant. I've prepared 5 tips that might help you on your way. And as always, there will be timestamps down below so you can skip to whichever tip you need to hear. Now let's not waste any more time and get right into the first tip of the video. Tip number 5. Don't stress too much about efficiency in the beginning. Now what do I mean by this? When you are just starting out with merchant, you can only take a couple contracts at a time and you don't even have many options to choose from unless you want to wait for the bounty board to refresh, and that's never worth it. A lot of other guides I've seen will have you using third-party tools like a website to plan your route, or having you drop certain bounty contracts all over the floor at the bounty board. All of this is unnecessary, even later on. So for right now, all I want you to do is focus on getting used to the map and trying to commit to memory where all the different vendors are. Tip number 4. Shortcuts. Unfortunately, or fortunately depending on who you ask, in order for merchant to be enjoyed to its fullest and reduce the amount of running around you have to do, you gotta level the detective profession. As you're running around, you'll start to notice certain areas of the map are dark and you can't pass through them unless your detective is a certain level, and these areas are the shortcuts, and they drastically reduce the amount of time it takes to get from point A to point B. Now, there are certain points you can kind of rest at. For example, I personally got my detective around to level 25 and I sat there until my merchant hit 150. And anybody could tell you that this was absolutely not the most efficient way to do it, but 25 unlocked enough shortcuts that I was okay up until this level for me. Tip number 3. Not all bounties are worth the hassle. This one is pretty simple, especially early on when I assume you do not have every shortcut unlocked. Like myself, some bounties take you way too far away from everything else to be worth it. An example would be those creepy Annabelle dolls that take you all the way out to the Fortune Hold farm. And until you partially complete the quest, the Battle of Fortune Hold, to unlock the abandoned alleyway up by Megrit's Market, this particular bounty is just not worth the hassle. However, once that quest is done, or I should say partially done, then it becomes worth it to run all the way over there, because now you'll have several bounties like the soap, pizza, and pocket watches that already have you heading up there anyways, which that nicely puts us to our next tip. Tip number 2. Try to group your bounties together. Now what do I mean by this? As you climb higher and higher into the levels of merchant and more contracts become available and they start and stop at different places, some of them actually have multiple items that can be bought or delivered to the same vendor. An example of this would be my favorite bounty, pizza, as when you drop off the pizza, you can talk to them again and immediately buy bananas. So as you accumulate more experience being a merchant, you'll naturally begin to remember what gets delivered and picked up where. Then you'll want to try and get bounties that are picked up around the same area and delivered around the same area. So this can be something like picking up the pizza, the soap, bananas, and carrots. Because never, ever leave the carrots on the board. Trust me, the XP is more than worth it no matter what you already have on you. And lastly, number 1 tip that I can give to you that for me personally I think can be considered the most important is do not wait on the bounties to refresh. This tip is something I honestly only recently started realizing and implementing. As you get higher levels in merchant and unlock more contracts, the odds of you getting duplicates or quote good bounties, they dwindle. If you just sit at the board waiting for it to refresh, that's a lot of wasted time, and you're not even guaranteed to get any good bounties when it does refresh. So the best way to go about this is to get to the board, pick the best out of your options, refer back to tip number 2, and just go. Even if you don't have a full set of 6, aiming for at least 3 to 4 is good enough to keep the XP flowing and not wasting too much time just sitting and waiting at the bounty board hoping to get something good. Alright, let's wrap this up. Personally, I think merchant is one of those skills that you would either love or hate. I think it's pretty fun making jokes about being an Uber Eats driver, but I'm sure others will like it or hate it for other reasons. But regardless of how much you like this skill, it makes really good money, really good knowledge points per hour, and it helps your leatherworking make even more money with the discounted hide. Speaking of which, if anyone wants a tips video on leveling their leatherworking, let me know down below and I'll start focusing it to give you guys one. And if anyone thinks I missed a few tips, please feel free to leave those down below as well. And if you made it this far, then I appreciate the support. And if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and maybe even a comment on what you would like to see next. I hope to see all of you in the next video, and have a good one.